All right, everybody, today we are digging deep into the pile of uninstalled mods with the oil catch can. I have literally purchased this and it's been sitting in my basement on my pile of uninstalled mods, which is 7 feet tall.
It's gotta be tall enough.
Probably about a year ago. So it makes me a little curious, what is the longest you have gone by purchasing something for your Tacoma without installing it? Comment below.
You have chosen wisely.
Okay guys, so yes, today I will be installing the ADDW1 oil catch can full kit with the hoses, all the cool hardware, which I'll go over in just a second. This is not going to be a video on whether you should or should not install an oil catch can. It seems like one of those things that's not quite as a heated debate as like doing an aftermarket cold air intake. Catch cans are definitely going to help out your truck in the long run by pretty much picking up oil vapor that would otherwise get recirculated and sucked back into the engine. I want to say, I don't know, maybe an average of maybe a few ounces every oil change, so certainly not a lot ideally, but every little bit helps to keep your Tacoma running as long as possible. I know it's definitely more applicable in like forced inductions with turbo and superchargers, but I'm going to install it anyway. First, for that added longevity for the engine, a little safety, and look at it, it looks awesome. I will of course put a link for this down in the description below if you guys want to install the same exact thing. Of course, any catch can is going to follow the same procedure once you figure out where you want to mount it. I like this one. It's sort of a nice upper end upgrade for the oil catch can system. The part right here is sort of gunmetal in the middle. You can get that part and of course all the associated hardware in a variety of colors. I like the gunmetal because even though I like to be a little flashy on the exterior of my truck, on the engine bay, I'm keeping it a little subtle. Now the catch can does come with this fuel line hose. I'm probably going to use this. I also have some of this wicked looking like braided fuel line I might use, but as I'll show you in just a second, you'll see where I'm mounting my catch can because I have a power tray. I mean, the distance that the hose is going to go from this to the engine is like, I don't know, 5 inches. So I might just save this for something else like, I don't know, power steering or something like that. So let's go ahead and pop the hood and I'll show you where I'm going to mount this. Okay guys, so here is my engine bay. I do have the power tray sitting right over here holding the S-Pod and future stuff in the future, obviously not installed yet. So if you don't have this in the way, chances are you're probably going to mount your catch can right over here on the side of the fender right there, the sheet metal. There are plenty of openings to choose from where you want to mount it vertically. Of course, not an option for me since I don't want to have to, I mean, there's probably space under there. I don't want to have to mess with that. That would be a super huge headache to have to deal with when I actually want to empty out the catch can every oil change. The catch can does come with a smaller bracket, which is actually at my house right now, but I reached out to ADDW1 and they had these larger brackets also, which actually fits perfectly on the side of my power tray. Not sure if you can see it right there, but there are some slots where that mounted in. Because there's a bunch of hoses and stuff running down there. I don't know what they do. Probably something important, but I don't want the catch can to sit on them or vibrate or whatever. So where it is right now, it's high enough so it's not going to make contact down there, but still have plenty of clearance so I can actually close the hood. All right, a couple quick things to go over about the actual unit. It does have a dipstick right here on the top. So if you just want to check the oil level inside, you can unscrew that. And just like the dipstick under your hood, it's got a few marks so you can determine. I'm not sure how much like increments each one of these is. I would guess maybe an ounce or so. And of course, whenever you want to actually drain the oil that is collected, you can just unscrew the bottom while this top part is of course still installed and pour this out. And on the bottom, there's even like, looks like a hex or Allen bit. Maybe you could install some kind of drainage system as well. The top of the unit does have a bunch of small screws. Ideally, when you install it, you will just use the two right here. Facing perpendicular to the mount, I guess, so your inlet and outlet hoses will go directly to the engine bay, but of course you could orient this any which way you want. Okay guys, so the oil catch can is actually going to replace your hose line for your PMS valve. The oil catch can is actually going to replace the hose line for your PCV valve. If I can point to it, it's going to show up. The tail end is right here, one clip to remove, and the back of it, all you have to do is just follow this hose down. It looks like it's about 8 inches long. Mine is actually filthy. Is right back there, so get some needle nose pliers and remove both of those clips. And just for reference, here is the line you are going to remove. This is the PCV side, so towards the back of the engine, and this part was surprisingly difficult to get to. Thankfully, these clips on here, you don't need needle nose pliers, both ends you can do by your fingers, and I don't have huge hands and it was like tight for me to get in there. So if you have bigger hands, this might be a little bit of a pain, and when you're pulling this out, just make sure that the clips don't fall off into your engine bay somewhere, because you can reuse these. You can use some of the Stainless steel hose clamps come with the kit. Okay, got the can mounted in position, and as you can see, because of where I have it mounted off the side of the power tray over here, this is the outlet nozzle, I guess. It looks like the hose will make contact with my plastic engine cover, so it looks like I have to remove this. If you're just mounting yours over here on the side, obviously you won't have to do that. You'll just have longer lines to run, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this off. If you've never removed this before, 10mm bolt right there, and then just pull it off from the back. So I decided to remove the can and lower it just a little bit to make less of like a 90-degree bend in the hose. And don't be like me, I dropped one of the small bolts, thankfully, and I know it's not going to show up. It actually landed perpendicular under here, so I'm going to grab that, adjust the catch can, and then put the hoses on. Okay guys, making progress. Got the braided fuel line here, oil line for the catch can, of course, for the smaller front part. Now, given that this is so close, there are a few bends in here that probably not ideal. You probably want this as straight as possible, but it's not rubbing anything. Went ahead and got the hose clamp that came with the kit on right there where I'm pointing. I'm gonna go ahead and get the line run back there where the PCV valve is. Having the catch can installed was just a little too tight to get these hoses on the inlet and outlet on the catch can, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that line run, get them on the catch can, then remount the catch can. That's a lot of catch cans. Okay guys, it was a huge pain in the ass, but for the back hose, the longer one connecting to the PCV valve, I was able to get it secure with a hose clamp and just sort of rigged up. I have like a flexible extension with a 7mm socket on my ratchet. I was able to get that down there, and with a little patience and a lot of swearing, get that tightened down. So in the home stretch now, go ahead and get the catch can mounted with the other hose clamps attached.
One eternity later.
Well, it was a lot more work than I anticipated given the proximity of the power tray sort of messing things up, but I got it to work, and I know you guys are dying to see it. And one last thing to mention, guys, I don't know why earlier I thought the hoses would interact with the, the plastic cover right there, because obviously I reinstalled it and it's fine now. Because of the power tray and it was sort of like tight confines in there, it was certainly easier having to remove that anyway. It only takes a second anyway just to get your hands around in there to get the lines on. So if you are doing this install, even if you don't have a power tray, just take about 10 seconds and pop that off to make the install just a little bit easier. All right, everybody, that will do it for the oil catch can installation video. Go ahead and comment below if you thought the video was useful and if you plan on installing a catch can yourself, or if you've already installed one, which brand did you go with and how much oil are you picking up in between each oil change? As always, thank you so much for supporting the Tacomaholic channel by watching this video. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.